Chair recognizes District 2.
I want to explain. Aquagenesis is. Here's the thing. I'm an entrepreneur. I've started businesses. I've had businesses that have done very well. I've had businesses that didn't work out. I mean, that's the risk you run. That's the great American dream of being a serial entrepreneur. Aquagenesis was a concept. If you go and check with the federal government, you'll see there has never been a tax return filed for that business concept. There's not any expenses involved with that company. It was an idea that was presented to me. I come from a background in public accounting. Every business, if I could give any advice to parents who are trying to figure out, what to get their kids to go into when they're in college, if you want a good general business degree, go get an accounting degree. Because every business in America has to file tax returns, has to do a balance sheet, has to do an income statement. So that gives you a unique set of skill sets that people will come to you with concepts and say, I'll tell you what, why don't you be the brains of the bookkeeping? Because we don't want to pay for an accountant. You have a background in public accounting. We'll do all the knowledge work. That's exactly what happened with Aquagenesis. I was to be the accountant for this business, but the concept just wasn't viable. If you remember back in 2006 and 7, we had all the droughts that were going on. They were talking about pumping up water from the ocean to provide water for communities. So it came to the idea that why couldn't we go to municipalities, dig for deep wells, and try to provide water sources? Well, of course, Senator Rick Jeffries, is an expert in water. I think it's a very good skill set to have somebody who's an expert in water on the Water Authority, but this was not a viable business. It was never, like I said, no revenue was generated. When you use the word for profit, you have to have revenue to generate profit. It was a business concept that never came out of the ground. All that was done was a Secretary of State filing was occurred, but no tax returns were ever filed, no revenue was ever generated, no expenses were generated with this. It was a business concept. Now, if I've gone astray of something by having concepts, if you go out there, there's another company called Advisor Skills. Was incorporated, did have profit, didn't work out. I couldn't make enough money, so I shelved it. I filed tax returns, I closed it down, but I've had very successful businesses with Preston and Cleveland Wealth Management and Preston Financial, and that's why I have clients in 27 states. I manage hundreds of millions of dollars, and it's not, I don't think it's a bad thing for citizens to come from Henry County, by the way. I went kindergarten through graduation right here in Henry County. I'm a graduate of Henry County High School. I've started businesses. I've employed people. I pay well into the six figures in income taxes. And I do it because I love this county. I love starting companies. I enjoy employing people. I just had one of my employees have a baby. I just had another employee get engaged. I have employees that are buying houses and cars. God bless America that I can be an entrepreneur. And to use the concept that I had an idea that didn't turn out to be a viable business and then say I'm unethical, it's a little inappropriate. I will tell you, Mr. Toney, it sounds like there was just a misunderstanding. Representative Yates drafted that letter. He never defunct that letter. It sounded like it was a misunderstanding. He didn't recall it. You clarified the record. I appreciate you clarifying that record, and that's why I read the letter gladly out loud. That was never my idea, was to gotcha with the part. I just was reading, that was not my declaration. It was the Representative Yates, and it sounds like you clarified it. So I appreciate your time, and I'm going to take Ms. Hinton's advice and just thank you for coming before us, because I do think the First Amendment is an incredible right that we have, and I think it's a great country that we live in. I appreciate you guys. I just wanted to clarify so that nobody thought I was doing anything unethical, because my mother watches these shows. I have family watching this, and I've always tried to follow the rules, because you don't mess with the people that have the guns. That's the IRS, that's the federal government. You don't mess with those people. You follow the rules. So thank you for your time.
Next, we have consent agenda. The following items